It's finally time to get rid of my old battery that I've had in Luna since we got her and finally upgrade to a LiFePO4 100 amp 1280 watt battery. Finally, I figure that winter's coming really quick and it's time to move forward with some stuff. What I really like about this thing, low temperature charging, self-heating. So something about where it's got this mechanism inside it, like these little heat pads, where it won't allow it to charge according to the BMS when it's super low, so that way it protects the battery. But when it reaches a certain degree of 41 degrees Fahrenheit, finally it'll allow the battery to charge. Just a protective mechanism. This thing's gonna be great. Let's hope it fits. All right, couple things about this battery. Yes, they sent it to me, and thank you so much for Vatrer sending me this battery. I really do appreciate it. It looks pretty cool. So we are gonna try this thing, and we are just gonna put this thing in Luna, and we are gonna revisit this thing quite a few times because the app that comes with it is quite interesting. Shows you the discharge, the input when you're charging everything. It has 5,000 cycles in it. That's something like over 13 years of continuous charges and discharges daily. That's just crazy, like great. But first, before we install this thing, I need to take out the old one. Time for an upgrade. Come here. Oh, okay. Probably gonna see this guy quite a bit too. You ready?
What's doing?
Go get it. Make sure you turn that off. And before I start with all this craziness, big shout out to Brute Force Explorer. He also has an Intech Luna. I believe, yes, he does have an Intech Luna Rover. And he does have a great tutorial on how to install this stuff. And for the Luna specifically, it needs a little switch in the circuit breaker system. You'll see. As many of you know, I do have my little underglow effect installed through here that just comes up through that little hole in the bottom of the battery holder. The other thing is, this right here is the vent for the lead acid batteries that I think is required by law in RVs. However, with the lithium iron phosphate batteries, you don't need that. And if somebody knows otherwise, please tell me in the comments below. All right, let's start with the sheer weight of this thing. This is an interstate battery that's SRM 24. 48 pounds, 24 pounds, 81 amps, 100. And everyone should put a handle on their batteries. I just installed a tractor battery on an old case, 1960 case 530 tractor. No handle, just put a handle on it. Oh, by the way, I am not an expert, but I am learning, and that's exciting. We have to deal with this. And thanks again to Brute Force Explorer for really kind of doing that tutorial. It's really helped a lot. Kind of inspired me to do this, along with the battery that Vatrer gave me. I need to take this little screw off, and then there's this tiny little toggle switch under here. Make sure that it moves it over from a solid state battery to the lithium iron phosphate battery. I do not see that switch. It's a model 4135. Nothing's easy. Okay, after about 2 hours of research, I've discovered that the 4135 Power Dynamics power converter thing is supposed to have a little toggle switch right there that says on or off for lithium iron phosphate. I don't have that damn switch. So I did plug in the battery and, you know, things turn on. Whoop. Things turn on. But I don't know if I'm going to blow something up. For Christ's sake, nothing's easy. So what I did is I plugged in the battery and then I turned everything on. Everything works because it's just a 12-volt battery ultimately. But I also plugged it in to charge the battery, and the battery is charging at something like 40 watts from the house. But my worry is the power dynamics converter thingy, whatever that thing is, the panel, is it compatible with this? But I also feel like the battery management system, the BMS in this thing, is going to protect it anyway. So it doesn't matter. And like I said, that Power Dynamics 4135 panel, I know this is verbal diarrhea. The 4135 panel from Power Dynamics, it didn't have the switch. And I can show you. So that switch is supposed to be located right there. So my initial idea with this battery, which is to basically install it, flip that switch, which I thought was going to be very easy. Assumed that things would be easy, and they're not. I was going to look at Luna, turn on certain lights, see what the draw is and what the wattage is coming out of that, and start to do some calculations and figure some stuff out, like what's the total draw of everything on with Luna. And I think we're going to get there. So what I'm going to continue to do is monitor this battery on the included app, or just download the app. That app is pretty sweet. It's easy to use. It immediately connects up via Bluetooth. But I think with the 100 amp BMS and my situation, I'm just going to continue to monitor. And of course, please comment. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm getting there. Maybe, probably not. But with the 100 amp BMS, it's going to protect me from overcharges and discharges. It's also going to protect me from overcurrent and short circuit protection. And it's going to also protect me from low and high temperature spikes. It's got 100 amp continuous discharge and high discharge and high charge capacity. You ready? So after working the phones a little bit, I did talk to Progressive Dynamics, and they told me exactly the answers that I was looking for. I also spoke to Tim's RV up in Irving, Mass, who sold us the camper, and thank you guys. Solved all my problems. But let me show you what I learned. So in this particular panel, there is no button down here. We all knew that. You could all see my frustration. There is, however, a boost button right here. And if you press that, it will go into lithium ion mode, and it will charge at about 200 watts, which is fantastic. So that whole idea where it would take 54 hours to charge, that's gone now. However, when I spoke to Progressive Dynamics, he said, if you want to change it over permanently and you don't want to press that button, you would need a 0.1 jumper cable, and that would go right here. Let me show you that. Go right down there. And I think if I install a jumper cable, that's going to be a little later. I think I'm just going to be a little lazy and just hit the boost button. I did, however, order a 20 amp battery charger for this thing. I think some redundancy is also a good idea, but let's get this thing finished. Let's get it installed, and then we'll do some of those tests. This guy's having a day. All right, everything is finished, everything is installed, and I was watching this thing hit 100%, and after it was charging and hit that 100%, it just turned off. Let's go turn everything on, let's see what kind of draw we get, and do some simple calculations. Okay, I just turned everything on in Luna, everything. Well, I can't turn on the air conditioner, I can't turn on the heater, and I can't turn on the television because that runs off the AC current, not the DC current. So everything that I could turn on in Luna running off DC, including the radio, is running right now. and the fan, the max fan is on high, and I'm pulling 97 watts. So at a 1280 on the battery, 1280 watts on the battery, divided by 97, it's gonna run about 13.1 hours full blast. And I never use it at that. It's drawing 7.13 amps. This app is awesome. It just tells you everything that you need to know. So a little discrepancy, the app says that it's gonna run for 14 hours and 6 minutes, where I calculated 13.1. I'm not gonna wait 14 hours for a full discharge, but this is cool.